So we're back here on the Duncan Duo Show talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market. Andrew Duncan with Robert Johnson and Mike Corrigan joining us for the first time hosting with us. He'll be continuing to host with us from Cross Country Mortgage. And today I want to talk about stinky houses because you know what? A lot of people don't catch this. You know, I can't tell you how many times, you know, I've walked into homes, and Robert, you've walked into as many as I have, especially in the last, you know, few years, probably, you know, a lot more so. And everything on the house looks great. They did a great job on the remodel. They repainted it, but it stinks.
Especially
it smells bad.
Especially if it's been listed before. You think, why didn't this sell? It looks great.
And then you walk in and you see the smell, because it is a big thing that goes unnoticed a lot of the time. And so it is something that can you know, make or break how people feel about your house. They can jump to conclusions. You know, they could think it's got mold, they could think it's Chinese drywall, they could have all these crazy thoughts going through their head, and in reality, maybe you forgot to take the trash out, or you got a dead, you know, mouse somewhere, or your cat decided to use the bathroom under the couch. Whatever it is, when you live in a house, you kind of become nose deaf to it. You don't really notice the smells of, you know, your mess, your animals, your kids, your trash. You know, you just don't. You don't realize that it smells. And so, you know, and people will get offended. Like, if you try and say something, I'm like, oh, maybe we need some air fresheners. They don't notice it. They're bothered. Really, truly understand, the more you live in a house and the longer you're there, you are not going to catch some of the smells. If someone tells you that you need to address the smell when you're, you know, when you're thinking about selling your house, please listen to them. Don't get offended. Don't judge. They're trying to help you. Because the reality is, it makes a big difference. We've you know, taken whole listings from other agents where that was the only thing wrong with it, where, you know, it just had a bad smell. You're laughing. You got a story or something?
No, I don't. Well, I have a couple of stories, but I was sitting here thinking, do you have a worst smell story that you could tell on the radio?
Oh man, a worst smell story.
Because I have a couple.
I've had so we had a short sale in Largo. And this was back when the market was really bad, and we went into the house, and there was dog doo-doo everywhere. Like, it was disgusting, and the people lived there. Like, they just didn't even care.
Amazing.
That was a bad one. That was a bad one. Yeah, and we ended up going through the short sale. An investor ended up buying it. We ended up, you know, going through the process, but you know, that was a rough one. But that's probably one that comes to mind. We've had a couple where animals have died. You know, skunks and, you know, rats even. You know, we've had pretty much everything, especially in vacant houses. You know, people aren't living there, and you know. So, what about yours? What is your bad smell story?
Well, there was two that came up right away, and I feel like you just think, well, what is going on? But I walked in this one house, and I did, you know, feel bad. I was in Odessa, and you know, the kids were there, and the father had died at the property, which, you know, that happens. But I guess the issue was that, you know, it wasn't him that was there for a while, but they had left.
I was wondering if while we had the house, I thought that was going to be sad. They interned him like he's entombed.
And that has happened too. But I guess what happened was there was cats in the house when he passed away in his room. And the cats were there for a while. And they had completely just destroyed the room. I mean, used the bathroom in the room. I mean, it was so bad that they took the carpets out, they repainted the house, they did everything, and the smell was still
there,
in the house. And eventually we got it sold, but there was another house that we had in Carrollwood. And what was really interesting about this house is, I went with another agent on our team, we went to the house, there was no issues, no nothing, and we kept showing the house, and we kept getting feedback that the house smelled. The house smelled, the house smelled. We went there again, we didn't smell anything. Some people, we got to where we would call agents and we would say, did you smell anything in the house? And they'd say, oh no, we didn't smell anything. Certain people went into this house and they had a horrible smell. And certain people went into the house and never smelled anything. And we never smelled it. And the people that bought it never smelled it. They got every kind of test, they got everything, nothing. And some people just smelled something in this house that some people didn't smell. I have no idea what it was.
Yeah. Well, again, you never know. We have different taste buds. So maybe we have different nasal.
Still, I think about that and I think, what was that? But yeah, I mean, you can go in and I will tell you the most awkward thing is having a conversation with somebody about a negative smell in the house that they clearly don't smell.
Some of the culprits, smoking. Smoking is a big one. Mm-hmm. Look, I'm not telling you whether you should or shouldn't smoke. I'm not your doctor, but if you're going to smoke and you're going to sell your house, smoke outside the house and clean out the air filters, the air ducts, maybe even repaint, recarpet, because the smell gets soaked up into the into that stuff. So and pets are another big one.
Well, I will tell you that we as realtors, some people will be a little offended, or if we're getting constant feedback. We've taken an ethical oath that we have to provide that feedback to you, whether it's negative or positive. So if people are saying this, we actually have to provide you that feedback.
Right.
So don't get offended by go in, address it, do what you can. But we're there to help you. So.
Yeah, but you do get some people that get defensive.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They get defensive. Oh, it doesn't smell like smoke in there. Well, look, maybe it doesn't to you because you smoke every day, but it does. It does smell like smoke.
That's what I was just going to say. I used to be a former smoker way back when, and one of the things I know, and thankfully, 8 or 9 years ago I quit and I no longer smoke, but I realized after I quit is how much that, you notice smoke when you're a non-smoker versus when you are a smoker.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
it's
It's
good
a
advice
really
to take
big deal,
it there
so-
because you don't notice it when you're doing
Yeah.
it, but when you're not, it's very noticeable to everybody around you.
Yeah, so make sure to pay attention to that. Get the feedback. You want the house smelling good. It makes a big difference. If it doesn't smell good, people start to judge it. They think something's wrong. So, if you have smells, if you get feedback that there's a bad smell, fix it, address it. Don't think that it's just going to go away or that it's that person. Because like Robert said, in that situation, that's a rare one where you have people that smell it, people don't. Usually everyone smells it. So we're going to be back after a quick break, continuing our conversation here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show.